Florida has long been a hotbed for gang activity, with some of the most dangerous and influential gang members operating within its borders. From violent street gangs to sophisticated prison-based organizations, these individuals have played major roles in drug trafficking, human smuggling, racketeering, and murder. Cities like Miami, Tampa, and Orlando have witnessed the rise of notorious gangs such as the Latin Kings, Gangster Disciples, and MS-13, whose leaders have commanded fear and loyalty. Many of these gang members are deeply embedded in organized crime networks that stretch across state lines and even international borders. Their reach often extends into Florida's prison system, where they continue to direct criminal operations behind bars. Law enforcement agencies at the local, state, and federal levels have made significant efforts to curb gang violence, yet some members remain elusive and powerful. This overview highlights the most dangerous gang members who have shaped Florida's criminal underworld. Number 6. Andrew Mariano, a key figure in Florida's sex money murder gang. Andrew Mariano, a 23-year-old resident of Flagler Estates, Florida, emerged as a significant figure within the sex money murder (SMM) gang, a faction affiliated with the Blood Street Gang. Despite being classified as a Floor 1 member, the entry-level rank in the gang's hierarchy, Mariano played a pivotal role in the gang's operations across Northeast Florida. Mariano's involvement with SMM was marked by active participation in various criminal activities. Investigators identified him as a key player in drug and firearms trafficking throughout the region. His responsibilities extended beyond street-level operations. He was instrumental in maintaining the gang's presence and activities, contributing to its overall structure and function. The gang's internal communications revealed Mariano's significant involvement. He was active in encrypted messaging platforms like Signal, where he engaged in discussions about narcotics distribution, dues collection, and violent retribution plans. These communications provided law enforcement with critical insights into the gang's operations and Mariano's role within them. In December 2023, following the death of fellow gang member Nike Echevarria, Mariano participated in discussions about retaliatory actions. He advocated for targeting the family of the alleged perpetrator, demonstrating a willingness to extend violence beyond rival gang members to their relatives. This behavior underscored the gang's ruthless approach to perceived threats and the extent of Mariano's involvement in such plans. Mariano's criminal activities culminated in his arrest in April 2025, following a comprehensive investigation by the Broward County Sheriff's Office Gang Investigations Task Force. A search of his residence yielded firearms and narcotics, further substantiating his involvement in trafficking operations. He was charged with multiple offenses, including racketeering, conspiracy to commit homicide, directing activities of a criminal gang, and money laundering. Mariano's arrest was part of a broader crackdown on the SMM gang, resulting in the apprehension of 10 senior members across Florida. The investigation also uncovered a kill list of intended victims, allowing law enforcement to intervene and prevent potential homicides. These efforts have significantly disrupted the gang's operations, though investigations continue to fully dismantle its network and influence. Andrew Mariano's case highlights the complexities of gang hierarchies and the significant roles that even lower-ranked members can play in perpetuating criminal enterprises. His involvement in SMM's activities underscores the importance of comprehensive law enforcement strategies to address and mitigate gang-related threats within communities. Number 5. Jonathan Gonzalez. Jonathan Gonzalez, a native of Lake Worth, Florida, rose to prominence as the leader of the Crazy Locos, a violent criminal street gang operating in South Florida. Under his leadership, the gang engaged in a series of violent crimes, including homicides, drive-by shootings, narcotics and firearms trafficking, and obstruction of justice. Gonzalez's criminal activities came to a head in 2025 when he, along with his brother, Christopher Gonzalez Chamberlain and associate Itzel Campos pleaded guilty to multiple charges. These charges stem from their involvement in 2 homicides, 2 drive-by shootings, and extensive narcotics and firearms trafficking operations. The trio's plea was the result of a comprehensive investigation conducted by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement's Homeland Security Investigations, the FBI, and the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. The Crazy Locos' criminal endeavors were not limited to violent acts. They also engaged in obstruction of justice, attempting to hinder the investigation into their activities. The gang's operations had a significant impact on the South Florida community, contributing to the area's crime rates and endangering public safety. In 2025, Gonzalez and 5 other gang associates were sentenced for their roles in the gang's criminal activities. The sentences were handed down following their guilty pleas, marking a significant victory for law enforcement agencies working to dismantle gang operations in the region. The case of Jonathan Gonzalez and the Crazy Locos underscores the challenges law enforcement faces in combating organized gang activity. It also highlights the importance of interagency cooperation in addressing such threats to public safety. While Gonzalez's conviction and sentencing represent a significant step in curbing gang-related crime in South Florida, the fight against such criminal enterprises continues. Law enforcement agencies remain vigilant, working tirelessly to prevent the emergence of similar gangs and to protect communities from the dangers they pose. The downfall of Jonathan Gonzalez serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of gang involvement and the relentless pursuit of justice by law enforcement. It is a testament to the effectiveness of coordinated investigative efforts and the commitment to upholding the rule of law. Number 4. Dontai Morris. Dontai Rashawn Morris, born on August 24, 1985 in Tampa, Florida, emerged as one of the most notorious figures in the city's criminal history. His life was marked by early adversity, criminal affiliations, and a series of violent acts that culminated in a high-profile manhunt and multiple convictions. Morris's upbringing was fraught with challenges. Born to a 16-year-old mother who struggled with depression, he lost his father to an unsolved murder at the age of 2. Raised partly by his ailing grandmother, Morris experienced instability, frequently changing schools and environments. He had 2 step-siblings from his mother's subsequent relationship. According to prison records, Morris was affiliated with the Blood Street Gang. By 2013, he was a father to a 7-year-old son. Between May 18th and June 29th, 2010, Morris was involved in a series of homicides in Tampa. The most heinous of his crimes occurred on June 29, 2010, when Morris fatally shot Tampa police officers Jeffrey Kokab and David Curtis during a routine traffic stop. The incident was captured on a patrol car's dash cam, providing crucial evidence for his identification and subsequent arrest. The killing of the 2 officers triggered the largest manhunt in Tampa's history. Over 1,000 officers from 22 agencies, including the FBI and ATF, participated in the search. The reward for information leading to Morris's capture escalated to $101,000. On July 2, 2010, Morris was apprehended at a law firm in South Tampa. Morris faced multiple trials for his crimes. In March 2013, he was convicted of murdering Rodney Jones and sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. In May 2014, he received a death sentence for the murders of officers Kokab and Curtis. In July 2015, he was sentenced to death for the murder of Derek Anderson. However, following a 2016 change in Florida law requiring unanimous jury recommendations for death sentences, Morris's death sentence for Anderson's murder was overturned. In 2021, he was resentenced to life imprisonment for that case. Morris's actions had profound effects on the Tampa community and law enforcement. His aunt, Carolyn Riggins, was dismissed from her position at the Tampa Police Department for withholding information that could have led to his earlier arrest. His girlfriend, Courtney Brantley, who was present during the officer's shooting, received a 1-year prison sentence for fleeing the scene and concealing a weapon. Currently, Dontai Morris is incarcerated at Florida State Prison, serving multiple life sentences and a death sentence. His case remains a stark reminder of the devastating impact of gang violence and the importance of community vigilance in combating such threats. Number 3. The life and criminal history of Wesnel Isaac, Zo Pound Gang enforcer. Wesnel Isaac, a Haitian-born individual, emerged as a significant figure within the Zo Pound Gang, a criminal organization founded in Miami, Florida, in the 1990s. Known for its involvement in various illicit activities, including drug trafficking and violent crimes, Zo Pound has established a presence in multiple regions, including South Florida, Chicago, and the Bahamas. Isaac's criminal activities came to the forefront in 2007 when he was implicated in a triple homicide in Bonita Springs, Florida. Alongside associates Lubert Jules, Peter Belvalis, and George Guerrier, Isaac sought retribution against individuals who had allegedly robbed Jules. Failing to locate the intended targets, the group abducted 3 men, Willard Graham, Scott Highfill, and Robert Barkley, from a residence. The victims were later found deceased, each having suffered a gunshot wound to the head. Following the incident, Isaac fled to Haiti, evading capture for several years. In 2014, he was apprehended by Haitian National Police in Carrefour, Haiti, and subsequently extradited to the United States. At the time of his arrest, Isaac was considered one of Southwest Florida's most wanted fugitives and was listed among the U.S. Marshals' top 15 most wanted. In 2016, Isaac was convicted on multiple charges, including 3 counts of second-degree murder, kidnapping, and robbery. His conviction underscored the violent activities associated with the Zo Pound Gang and highlighted the collaborative efforts of international and domestic law enforcement agencies in addressing gang-related crimes. Isaac's case serves as a stark reminder of the far-reaching impact of gang violence and the importance of coordinated efforts in bringing perpetrators to justice. Number 2. Kevin Foster. Kevin Donald Foster, born Kevin Donald Bates on June 16, 1977, in Amarillo, Texas, is infamous for leading the Lords of Chaos, a self-styled teen militia responsible for a series of violent crimes in Fort Myers, Florida, during April 1996. His actions culminated in the homicide of a high school teacher and led to his conviction and death sentence. Foster's early years were marked by instability. His biological father, John Bates, abandoned the family shortly after his birth. His mother, Ruby Foster, later remarried, and her new husband adopted Kevin, giving him the Foster surname. The family moved frequently before settling in Fort Myers. Foster exhibited troubling behavior from a young age, idolizing outlaws like Billy the Kid and displaying signs of sociopathy. Classmates described him as erratic and manipulative with a fascination for violence and rebellion. In April 1996, at the age of 18, Foster formed the Lords of Chaos with peers Pete Magnotti, Chris Black, and Derek Shields. The group aimed to create chaos through criminal acts. Their initial activities included vandalism, arson, and theft. Notably, they attempted to burn a church bus and set fire to a birdcage, slaughter one of 2 macaws. They also bombed a historic Coca-Cola bottling plant using a homemade explosive device, causing significant damage. The group's most heinous act occurred on April 30, 1996. While planning to vandalize Riverdale High School's auditorium, they were confronted by band director Mark Schwabes, who confiscated stolen items and warned them of police involvement. Fearing exposure, the group decided to eliminate Schwabes. That night, Foster, accompanied by Black, Magnotti, and Shields, went to Schwabes' home. Shields knocked on the door, and when Schwabes answered, Foster shot him twice with a 12-gauge shotgun, killing him instantly. The homicide led to a swift investigation. authorities arrested the core members of the Lords of Chaos. While others accepted plea deals, Foster refused a life sentence without parole, opting for a trial. In 1998, he was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to death. Subsequent appeals, including claims of inadequate representation and challenges to the jury's death penalty recommendation, were denied. As of 2023, Foster remains on death row at Union Correctional Institution in Florida. In 2000, Foster and his mother, Ruby, were convicted of conspiring to murder members of the Lords of Chaos who had testified against him. They had approached author Jim Greenhill, who was interviewing Foster for a book, to assist in the plot. Greenhill reported the conspiracy to authorities, leading to their convictions. Ruby received a 5-year sentence, while Foster's sentence was extended. Foster's story has been the subject of various media, including Jim Greenhill's book, Someone Has to Die Tonight, a Dateline NBC special, and episodes of true crime television series. These portrayals delve into the disturbing transformation of a teenager into a notorious criminal mastermind. Kevin Foster's descent into violence and his leadership of the Lords of Chaos serve as a chilling reminder of how youthful rebellion can escalate into deadly criminality. Number 1. The Life and Crimes of Wade Wilson. From troubled youth to convicted assassin. Wade Stephen Wilson, born on May 20, 1994, in Florida, is a convicted murderer known for the brutal killings of 2 women in Cape Coral, Florida, in 2019. His case garnered national attention due to the heinous nature of his crimes, his affiliation with the white supremacist prison gang Unforgiven, and his unsettling courtroom demeanor. Wilson was adopted by Steve and Candace Wilson and raised in Tallahassee, Florida. During his youth, he was described as troubled, exhibiting signs of behavioral issues and substance abuse. He sustained multiple head injuries during his childhood and adolescence, which he later cited as contributing factors to his emotional instability. His encounters with the law began in 2012 in Leon County, involving incidents such as burglary, assault, and firearm-related offenses. In November 2013, Wilson was sentenced to prison for burglary and grand theft, serving until September 2014. In 2015, he faced charges of sexual battery and kidnapping, but was acquitted by a jury. By 2017, Wilson was incarcerated again for stealing firearms, serving until July 2018. On October 7, 2019, Wilson committed 2 homicides within hours. The first victim, Christine Melton, was strangled in her home after Wilson had met her at a live music bar. Later that day, Diane Ruiz, a mother of 2 and a bartender, was strangled and subsequently run over multiple times after being lured into Melton's car under false pretenses. He called his biological father, Stephen Testaseca, soon afterward and confessed to murdering the women. Testaseca and his wife called the police, and Wilson was arrested the following day. He told detectives that he would be willing to do it again. During legal proceedings, evidence of Wilson's mental health was presented, including testimony about his brain injuries. A neurologist testified that brain scans showed trauma and impairment, which might explain some of Wilson's impulsive behaviors. However, experts for the prosecution argued that drug abuse was a more significant factor in his actions. The defense claimed that Wilson's drug abuse could have impaired his judgment at the time of the crime. Wilson's biological father testified against him in court, recounting details of his confession over the phone. Testaseca stated that his son ran over Ruiz after realizing she was not yet dead, and also could not explain his motives beyond, "I just wanted to do it." More than the required 8 out of the 12 jurors recommended the death penalty for Wilson, 9 for the homicide of Melton, and 10 for the murder of Ruiz. Having the power to take or disregard the jury's suggestion, Judge Nicholas Thompson imposed 2 death sentences. Wilson is appealing the decision to the Supreme Court of Florida. While awaiting trial, Wilson applied multiple tattoos on his face, including a swastika under his right eye. In 2020, Wilson and his cellmate were accused of tampering with a window in their cell in an attempt to escape. Wilson, who was reportedly the primary planner and instigator of the escape effort, also tried to set up a getaway car. In 2023, he pleaded nolo contendere to smuggling drugs into prison in exchange for having charges relating to an alleged escape attempt dropped. He was sentenced to a fine and 12 years in prison to be served concurrently with his death penalties. Wilson survived a drug overdose at Lee County Jail in 2023. The incident prompted an investigation by the Lee County Sheriff's Office. Investigators uncovered a conspiracy to traffic illegal drugs into the jail. 4 others were also charged in the incident. Wilson's sentencing was marked by public interest and controversy, including numerous messages from individuals pleading for clemency. His case raised questions about the intersection of mental health, criminal behavior, and the justice system. The case attracted extensive media coverage, partly because of Wilson's common name with the well-known fictional character Wade Wilson, the secret identity of the Marvel Comics character Deadpool. Public reactions were mixed, with some expressing sympathy due to his mental health issues, while others focused on the brutality of his crimes.